All right, hey guys, welcome to week 3 of online learning. So this is another video, and today we're going to be talking about mean, median, mode, and range to start off week 3. So the first thing I wanted to do is just review the definitions a little bit with you guys. So mean is the average, which means we take all of our numbers in our data set, add them up, and then divide by how many numbers were there. The median is the middle number in our data set. So that means when our numbers are in order from least to greatest, or in numerical order, it's going to be the number that falls directly in the middle. The mode is the number that we see the most in the data set. So that means it's the most repeated number. And then our range, I put H minus L. That means our highest number minus our lowest number. So that's mean, median, mode, and range. We're also going to be talking about something called a 5-number summary. This is also called a box and whisker plot. So if you've heard of it referred to as a box and whisker plot, they mean the same thing. The reason that this is called a 5-number summary is because it uses 5 data points. So the first data point, which is the point all the way over on the left-hand side, that's going to be your min, which is just the smallest number in your data set. This Q1, which is the first part of the box, it's actually called quartile 1. We're going to talk about that. Median, we discussed, is the middle of our data set. So that's the middle number and the middle line in the box. Q3 is quartile 3. That's the end of the box on the right-hand side. And then our max is our highest point in the data set, and it's all the way over on the right-hand side. So the reason this is called Q1 and Q3 is actually because the median can also be called Q2. But we just refer to it as the median. So let's take a look at an example problem and see how we do. So I wrote a data set up at the top. I used 1, 4, 5, 7, 7, 10, 11, 15, and 27. Now, I already wrote these numbers in numerical order, but if they do not come in numerical order, that should be your first step. Write them from least to greatest and make sure you keep those repeating numbers next to each other. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to find the mean of our data. Now, that's the average. So what I have to do is I have to add all of my numbers together and divide by how many are there. So we're going to add 1 plus 4 plus 5 plus 7 plus 7 plus 10 plus 11 plus 15 plus 27. And we're going to divide that by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Because we have 9 numbers in our data set. So if I add all those numbers together, I'm going to get 87 divided by 9. And when I plug that into a calculator, 87 divided by 9 is going to give me 9.6 repeating. Sometimes it'll be a nice whole number, but not always. If it's going to be a decimal, we will tell you where you should round to. All right, so let's move on to our median. Our median is our middle number in the data set. So what I like to do is I like to go number by number on each side until I reach the point in the middle. I'll show you what I mean. So I'm going to start putting a dot above the numbers. So I'm going to put a dot above the 1 on the left and a dot above the 27 on the right. So whatever I do to one side, I'm going to do to the other. Dot above 4 and a dot above 15, 5 and 11, 7 and 10. Until I'm left with that 1 in the middle. And that gave me 7. All right, so the mode is the number that we see the most in our data set. So in this case, we actually have a repeated 7, which means the median and the mode are the same. This is not always true. I could have had 2 11s as well. So if I had 2 7s and 2 11s, I would actually have 2 modes. I would have 7, 11. It's just whatever number you see the most of. So if I had 3 15s, it would have been 15. For the range, we do our high minus our low. In other words, our max minus our min. So our max number is the biggest number, which is 27. Subtract your min, which is your lowest number, and we have 1. 27 minus 1 is going to give me 26. That's the range of my data set. All right, so now we're going to talk about our 5-number summary. So for our 5-number summary, I drew a number line down at the bottom. A 5-number summary always goes along with a number line because you use the number line to place your points and your box. So for our 5-number summary, the first thing that we need is our min. So the min is this 1 all the way down at the end. So right above the number line, I'm just going to put a dot above the 1. So that's our min. Then our 4 other points, Q1, median, Q3, and max. So we did our min. We're going to cross that one out. There are 3 points that are really easy to identify. That's your min, your median, and your max. I like to plot those first. So we plotted our 1 for our min. Our max is going to be 27 because that's the biggest number we have. So we're going to go down to the 27. And we're going to put a dot above it, just like we did for the 1. And we're going to cross out max because we did our max. And the third number that's the easiest is our median. So our median we already calculated as being 7. So above 7, I'm going to go in and I'm going to draw a little dot. Now the 2 things we haven't talked about yet are the quartiles. Quartile 1 and quartile 3. Remember how I said that a median is also called quartile 2? That's because quartile 1 is actually the median of the lower portion of data. And quartile 3 is the median of the higher portion of data. So the median is our middle point. So we're going to take that out of our data set. It's already being used. And we're left with 4 numbers on the left and 4 numbers on the right. So we have 1, 4, 5, and 7. That's in our 1 range, our lower range. And we have 10, 11, 15, and 27. That's in our higher range. We're going to use that to calculate quartile 3. So remember that the median is the middle number. So for quartile 1, what we're going to do is we're going to find the middle of these 4 numbers. So instead of putting dots above, now I'm just going to cross it out. So for quartile 1, I'm going to cross out 1. I'm going to cross out 7. Now that leaves me with 4 and 5. If I cross those out, I don't have anything in the middle there. So what I have to do is I have to find, well, what's in the middle of 4 and 5? So to do that, I'm going to add and find the average. 4 plus 5 divided by 2. That's the same thing as 9 divided by 2, which gives me 4.5. So here's 4 on my number line. I'm going to go halfway, and I'm going to put a dot at 4.5. We're going to do the same thing for quartile 3. We're going to cross out our 10 and our 27, and again, we're left with those 2 numbers. So how do we find what's in the middle of 11 and 15? So we're going to find our mean again. 11 plus 15 divided by 2. That would give me 26 divided by 2, which is equal to 13. So now I'm going to go down to 13, and I'm going to put that dot. So this is how you calculate the median of a set of data when there's 2 numbers left. So the same thing would happen if we needed to do that for the median. If we had an extra number over here and I added 29 into our data set, then our median would have been between 7 and 10. So we would have added 7 plus 10 divided by 2, and that would have given us our median. So to finish off our 5-number summary down here, this doesn't look like our box and whisker plot or our 5-number summary. It just looks like a bunch of dots above a line. So we need to put it together. So I know that I'm going to have a box. The outside of the box are my quartiles, and the inside is my median. And then I just draw the whiskers, which are the lines to get to the min and the max. So here's our min, Q1, median, Q3, and max. So the special thing about this, it tells us a lot about our data set. So between each set of points, 25% of our data is there. So from the min to quartile 1, we have 25%. From quartile 1 to the median, we have 25%. From the median to quartile 3, we have 25%. And from quartile 3 to the max, we have 25%. So using that, we can determine how much of the percentage lies between what set of numbers. So for our data set, we have our median of 7 and our max of 27. So 50%, 25 plus 25, 50% lies between 7 and 27. All right, and that's how we use mean, median, mode, range, and our 5-number summary. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment.